the spray and the shit got his bent. Free static, Mr. Take that risk. I'm going live like we won't take that trip. Like
What is good, YouTube? It's your boy TDR Shy. It is your boy TDR Shy. And we are back with another reaction, a blind reaction. I just seen it and I just feel like I know this boy gonna say some dumb shit. And so we're listening to part 14 of Vlad TV, Trap Lil Ross talking about Q50 and Bloodhound Lil Jeff. You know what I'm saying? I just got a feeling he gonna say some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Like something about it spoke to me and said, I'm not gonna like what you gotta say. But let's see. I'm gonna give it a chance. Though. So let's get straight into it. The Q50, that's my round.
I guess Bloodhound Q50 was there when Bloodhound Lil Jeff got killed.
He was, yeah.
Right. And now Q50's on the
I just want to say this too. I really genuinely believe, like him even dressing like this, it's all a part of the character. It's all about the character. I'm just a nerdy white dude who reports on stuff in the hood. Like I'm not really about it. I'm just reporting on it. I think he dressed like this for a reason.
run.
Yeah, so, I mean, Q50 says he's got 8 bodies, right? He says he's up 8 hats. He said that in numerous songs. He's claiming to have killed 8 people, same way Jeff was claiming to kill 10 or 11. Most of Jeff's music, he's talking about killing 10 people. I don't think he hopped on live talking about he's got his 11th body, but I don't know if he recorded much between catching his 11th body and him losing his life. But essentially, like, you know, Q50's still out here. He got arrested for a little period of time, but he got let back out, and he's just out here, you know, navigating the streets supposedly with 8 bodies. I don't know how he's not in jail. It's actually kind of baffling, this whole situation. I think if Jeff was here, he would definitely be in jail, facing really serious charges for a number of bodies that he'd allegedly committed and claimed. Those guys made it really obvious for everyone, you know. Q50 himself, he's got a bunch of lyrics where he's talking about people that got killed. You know, there was a shooting at a McDonald's in Chicago where, you know, somebody's mother got shot, and he's in songs rapping about it. So his mum got in the way. That type of stuff happens. You know, we shot up the McDonald's and it got closed down. They're talking so openly about the stuff that happened. It's actually insane. And so much of it's getting caught on camera. It's wild. And then the even more crazy thing about Jeff and Q50 is that, you know, allegedly they were doing hits for money in another city. So there's a whole bunch of lyrics that they've got talking about, I'm in Milwaukee taking hits for paper, doing hits for change. And only since my
shit is really crazy. I'm not gonna lie. A part of me's mad, but I know I'm just being the black guy mad at the white guy saying it. But it is crazy that them boys wasn't in jail. Like when you hear all the shit they were saying, like I was like, oh my gosh. Like even the lives, like bro, talk about some. I blacked out for a week, then poof, poof, 2 of them. Oh my god, that nigga was a demon. Oh, he was a demon.
documentaries came out, there's been a new, what's it called? A new theory on Reddit that there's basically was a triple homicide in Milwaukee that people are saying, yo, this is the one where Jeff and Q50, they were paid to kill 1 guy and they ended up killing 3 guys. And then there's a bunch of lyrics where Jeff and Q50 have these little bars where they're talking about my first hit was a 2 for 1, or I'm in Milwaukee doing hits for the change. My first hit wasn't a regular hit. It's actually crazy. These guys are taking it to a whole nother level, and you can tell that they idolize Von. You know, you can tell that they really idolize Von. They were really in this mindset of like, we're gonna commit murder and we're gonna rap about it, and we're
See, I knew it. I knew he was gonna say shit I didn't like. I think he's, and again, I'm not justifying a rapper because rapper talking about this stuff is not cool. But him saying like they idolize Von, I think there's no way they idolize Von. I think because Von didn't make drill music. Von wasn't the first one to come out and be like, oh, I'm da-da-da-da and I'm da-da-da-da, I killed this, I smoke on this. He wasn't the first one to do that. He's not the first person to idolize bodies and murderers. That's something where it's like you get respected in a gang for doing that. So it's not, oh, Von made them killers. these niggas would have been these people. These dudes would have been killing with or without the music. You know, it says something about the era you live in and the culture that you surround yourself around. It's not actually. I can't place it on the artists. Like, I don't think the artists are increasing gun violence. I think everything about. I mean, unless you're saying they idolized Vaughn in a way of they thought he was a cool guy and he just happened to commit murders. But I don't think that's what you're saying. I think they're killing because they're like, I want to get more bodies than Vaughn. I just don't think that when you see the people that come up from Chicago, how they all live that life of people die every day, there really is a war. I don't think you can really place that on Vaughn.
We're going to come up off the back of it, and we're going to be the demons in this new generation. Obviously, Lil Jeff lost his life before.
Like, how could you even? I mean, I don't even understand how you could say like, "Oh, we're going to be the new demons of this generation." When the dude who was rapping first, I think his name's I forgot his name, but he was already rapping about bodies first. You know, so he's rapping about, yeah, my gang's clapping this, and I'm gonna say almost every rapper in Chicago was talking about what their gang is doing. But you're attributing that to Vaughn when that was already what drill music was. Like, there's kids in the UK talking about their stabbings. Is that Vaughn? Is that Vaughn? I just feel like he keeps trying to portray this thing of Vaughn was a serial killer, Vaughn's this, Vaughn's that, to push his point instead of really understanding about, like, these kids are growing up in real war zones. Like, real deal, like, the people around me could die any moment. Like, they are surrounded by death. And I feel like you're not even acknowledging that. You're just like, it's Vaughn. It's Vaughn. It's the music. It's the music. It's not that the fact that his brother got shot at when he was 12 years old and, you know, someone came and shot through his house. It's not that. It's King Vaughn. Like, that's just a weak ass take to me.
He could really see the success. You know, I personally think Lil Jeff was a very talented rapper. His Steppin' in Blood mixtape, I think, is one of the best Chicago mixtapes to have come out. The music's incredible. He is really doing all of the stuff that he said. He's got a song called In Your Home talking about, I would have run inside his home if my gun didn't jam. And we seen in that footage of Lil Jeff getting killed, he was trying to run in somebody's home. He was really doing what he said. He died doing what he said. And I think Q50's even, you know, had some posts out saying, you know, Jeff went out the way he would have wanted to go out. You know, I think Q50's got this one lyric where he says, your homie died getting chased by somebody. My homie died chasing somebody. There's a difference. And they really wear it as a badge of honor. But, you know, to be honest, I think what's really interesting about the Lil Jeff case, famously Jeff and Q50 and Rel Vert is another guy in their crew.
Vert.
You know,
that was his name. Vert. Lil Vert.
They were, I think, was on DJU, crushing up Percocet pills and sniffing it on camera. That was a big thing that they did. That was a viral moment. Demonic rappers crushing up perks and sniffing them on camera in Chicago, and they kind of created this whole wave where they were doing all of this wild stuff. But they became almost like,
okay, again, y'all are saying they're creating this. These aren't kids, like, these aren't like kids in the suburbs who never experienced that like this, oh yeah, I'm snorting perks because I seen this rapper do it. It's no, like, the people around me snort perks. Like, the nigga around me we're all drug heads. Like, we all do this. Like, this is what we do. They're not creating a moment. This is their life. The moment's already here. They're just showing the world the moment. But this is not new. This is not, like, this isn't something where it's like, oh my gosh, like, because of them, everyone starts snorting perks. Like, no, this isn't no, like, media team of like, oh, we're going to do this because this looks crazy. No, this is the life they was living. So you can't keep putting it like, oh, they're changing things. They're not. This is already happening.
The poster children for this new generation of Percocet popping, drugged out, demonic rappers. And I mentioned it in the documentary. What's really interesting is that it's drill music. It's so aggressive and it's so violent. You know, the type of drill music that Von was making, it was all about picking up a gun and going sliding on your ops. What I think Lil Jeff and Q50 have done that's really interesting and is like a whole new generation, they're bringing that drugged out, lean type of vibe that like the sort of SoundCloud druggy rappers of 2016 were doing and bringing it into the drill. So they're bringing that drug culture and the lean and the perk culture, it's something you might expect to hear on a future record, and then mixing it in on the violence, talking about we're going to sniff a perk and then go and kill somebody. So I think by accident, those guys have almost created this whole new lane when it comes to kind of Chicago gangster drug rap, that's sort of this whole new lane. But ultimately, at least in Jeff's case, you know, he lost his life before he could even really see this come to fruition. You know, I don't think he got to see his first song hit 1 million views, you know, before he passed away, but they were really living it. But the thing that's really interesting is, you know, allegedly the person that shot Lil Jeff on the porch that day, a guy called Trap City Rob, that's who everyone says was the alleged shooter. He's kind of an older guy, right? And if you see that documentary, you'll see I kind of break down that, like, after Jeff got killed, this whole movement of like Unk Gang formed, of this older member that took out Jeff. And it's almost like there's become this dichotomy between like the Unks, the sort of older, more responsible, conscious generation of sort of trappers in Chicago, and then these younger perk sniffing demons that are just completely out of control. And you know, that guy Trap City Rob, he's been doing a lot of interviews, really talking like quite consciously about, you know, the life in the streets, and sort of talking about how he wants to invest in his community and he doesn't condone the violence. And it's really interesting is that like the guy that killed Jeff has almost, or allegedly killed Jeff, has become almost like the perfect contrast to Jeff's generation, drugged out, we're trying to kill everybody. Whereas Unk, he's just minding his business, you know?
Again, I just the way he talks about it, I just feel like it's so. He talks about it like it is just a story, you know. I think he talks about like, no, this is like, it's like almost like it's a fantasy story that's like really, really far away, and for him it is, but like that's what it's always been forever. The old guy who was about that life and was going on sliding on ops and killing people and watching his brothers die. Like he grew up and he like, hey, like none of that stuff is worth it. That's normal. That's what happens when you grow up, because that's why kids do the hits. And then you lose your friends, and you lose your best homie, and then your auntie happened like this, and now you can't go here, and now you can't experience the life you really wanted to live because you did all this stuff when you was 18 to 25. And then you get older and you tell the young kids, don't do that. Like, I've been through that. That's normal. That's everyday life. That's literally what everyone does. That's how life continues, and that's just normal. But he's making it sound like, oh, like it's just, I just can't believe that there's somebody come out here and speaking against the violence. No. As you age, no one commits major violence over time unless they're like a psychopath. And it's like, yeah, that was exactly how it should have been. Like, all my friends should be dead just so I could kill a couple of their friends. Like, no one's doing that. Everyone always says, I'd rather be with the homies. I miss being my friends. I wish we never got into this, but it's what I am in now. But no one's glorifying it.
No, he didn't want to have to deal with Jeff trying to run in his house that day, but he stood on business, did what he had to do. But they're just trying to focus on money. So the death of Jeff and everything that's gone on around this story has almost like it's created this proxy of what's going on in Chicago between the old heads and the younger kids that are just out of control. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Like it's a story that's really like a wider commentary on what's going on in wider Chicago as far as the different generations and how they're behaving in the streets.
Well, yeah, I feel that what we're seeing, I know people don't want to admit this, is a bunch of drug addicts acting like drug addicts, right? When you go by Skid Row in LA and you see a bunch of, you know, cracked out, pilled out addicts going crazy, beating each other up, stabbing each other, shooting each other, well, you think, oh no, that's different.
It's not.
Just because these people rap, you feel like they're in a different category. It's the same shit. If you're high off perks, if you're high off lean, which is heroin, you're acting crazy.
Lean's heroin? I had no idea. But yeah, man, I feel like, just to wrap all this up, while I don't think Trap Lil Ross is a bad guy, I think this has always been the problem with white people having dominant voices in black spaces. It's like, it is a story, you know? It's not anything that like kind of hits home, and like it's like hearing bad stories, you know? It's like hearing like, oh yeah, in Africa kids are going starving. Like, you know, that's sad, but it doesn't hit home, you know what I'm saying? But then you're like, you know, I stay downtown Los Angeles, and you're like, yeah, man, like, you know, 1 in 3 people in downtown Los Angeles are homeless. That's gonna be, dang, you know, because you see it. It's your life. And so just with a guy like Trap Lil Ross, like, I feel like he needs to stop acting like, oh my gosh, this is just something so crazy, and being like, yeah, like this shows the dangers and the horrificness of poverty and jail and just what has happened to like my community. You know, I think he just needs to try to take that more approach instead of looking at it like, man, this is a crazy ass story. You know what I'm saying? But it's your boy T Shy, man. Tell me what y'all think. Tell me, do you think he is right in the way he's talking about it? Do you think maybe I'm tripping? Because, you know,